Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. This is your brother Old Guy from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me, as always, is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Sam Man. Viral Hip Hop News. We are in the building.
Yeah,
we are live. It's Friday.
We in here.
Another edition of the Uncensored Truth Podcast, exclusively on Hip Hop News Uncensored. Oh God, what's good, my brother?
What's going on tonight? 8 p.m. every week, right here on this channel. If you're just coming in to the building, go ahead and hit the like button and share this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and also hit the bell to make sure you get all notifications. We are in here, the dynamic duo, the most underrated podcast out there. We in the building, man. We about to get it in tonight, Sam, man. How you doing today, bro?
I feel effing wonderful, man. Just a great week, a great business week. We're in here now 4 days a week. It feels awesome to come in here and do what we do, what we love to do, the most underrated podcast out there to date. Very proud of what we do, man. We had a great week talking about a lot of, one particular thing, you know what I mean? And we got a lot of good things to talk about this evening. Some bullshit went down in our neck of the woods that we're going to address and get into some situations. But yeah, man, it's real good to be in the building. Make sure y'all drop the area codes right now in the chat room. We appreciate each and every one of y'all coming in the building right now. Yeah, man, I'm ready to work, brother.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and drop them area codes as y'all come into the building. We will get to those momentarily. You're now rocking with the best. You're tuned into the Uncensored Truth Podcast now. Busting through the speakers wherever you're at in the world. We do appreciate everybody who's coming. I see the 330 and the 617 coming into the building early. We got quite a lineup, about the Funk Master Flex, Dame Dash, beef that's been going back and forth. They've been trading jabs on Instagram all day. Also, we got the Andrew Johnson situation, who's a rapper. Not a rapper, a wrestler. Yeah, man. In this area, high school. Who's forced to actually cut his dreadlocks off. We got the footage we're going to show you momentarily. Cardi B dropped the money video, whatever, we had to talk about that, as well as some other things tonight, man. So we're gonna jump into this in a minute, Sam, man. Go ahead and give me your hands where they can find you at real quick, though, bro.
Indeed. If you're looking for me on Instagram, you can find me at viral_hip hop news. That is viral_hip hop news. If you're looking for me on Twitter, that is viral hip hop news. And viral hip hop news, same thing on Facebook. Go check me out on there. Show me some love, interact with me. I'll definitely give the love back in return. Yeah, man, can't wait to talk about what we got going on this evening. That Andrew Johnson situation, just a little bit, that really pissed me off, man, because that happened.
Right.
If the people don't know, right in our neck of the woods, right here in Jersey, man. So can't wait to get into that. Obviously, Funk Flex out here, dancing for Hot 97. Can't wait to talk about that and a number of other things. Salute to everyone out there watching, man. Excited. Can't wait to work.
Yes, sir. Definitely about to get, right into this real quick. But it was a situation. I'll jump right into this one. Before I show the video, a Buena High School wrestler in Atlantic County, was about to do a match, and pretty much was made to cut his dreadlocks off. So I'm going to show the video, real quick of this, and then we're going to actually speak on this. So let me go ahead and pull this video up, and we'll get right to this joint. So that's the video right there that you see playing on the screen. Andrew Johnson out of Buena, the Buena Chiefs, was made to actually, I'll stop sharing the screen now, was made to pretty much cut off his dreadlocks, before the match. Sam, man, what's your thoughts on this? I seen you post this video earlier on Viral Hip Hop News. Said you were pretty livid about this. So what are your thoughts? Then I get to the update that they gave on this about 4:25 p.m.
Well, I'm going through the normal routine, going through Instagram, and I see the video of a young man getting his hair cut, but I really don't pay it attention. Then I see it again, then I see it again, then I read it, and I read what happened. I'm like, oh, damn, that's fucked up. What happened? Like, what referee would make him do that? And then I look in the background, and I see Buena Chiefs, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, that's right up the wait a minute, that's too close for comfort. We used to play them in football. We played them in basketball. We were right up the road. Nah, this can't go down right here. Nah, wait a minute. So then I start looking up information on the ref. Alan Maloney. Remember that name?
Right.
Alan Maloney. This piece of shit referee has been doing racist things for a very long time in the South Jersey area.
Right.
Especially when it comes to athletics. Now, for those of you who don't know, if you've played football, basketball, whatever, we have these referees, and you'll see similar referees in football, basketball, whatever. They have like a coalition where they get paid almost like a union type thing where they get certain jobs. They go out and do the job if they get certified in being a referee. So you know these referees, they get to know you. There was a history behind this man, Alan Maloney, and his behavior. He called one of his fellow colleagues the N-word. That fellow colleague went on and proceeded in whipping his ass. And, you know what I mean? Obviously, Alan Maloney denied the allegation. He didn't say it, but then there were numerous people saying that they confirmed it. He did say it. No one did anything about it. And then you have this man, Alan Maloney, have the nerve to tell this young man, you either cut your hair, or your team, and you forfeit the match. It makes absolutely no sense. But I want to take this a step further. Where were the coaches for Buna? Where was the athletic department for Buna? Where were the parents for Buna to step up and go, no, this is wrong. You aren't going to make this boy cut your hair. You had someone sitting there shellacking this kid's head off like it was okay. Like he had to go do this to win the match for Buna.
Right.
What about the kid? Where was anybody at to show some outrage against this?
What did it have to do with the match? I don't get it. They're not giving any clarification of why they made him do this. Now, there's an update to the story as of 4:35 p.m. says the State Athletic Association has asked the ref who was forced a wrestler to cut his dreadlocks be sidelined until further notice. In addition, the New Jersey Division on Civil Rights has opened an official investigation on this conduct. Like you said, Sam, man, BS. Anyway, you look at it, totally uncalled for. If I was there, I would have been livid. I don't get it. Why? He needs to sue fast. The guy needs to be fired. A lot of people need to be sued. This is crazy. Absolutely. This is crazy. It should have never happened. Why?
My immediate reaction was, where was the parents at in the situation? And then you said something and it made me kind of shit like, okay, we don't know his family. We don't know. Coaches, staff. If I was one of his teammates, and I'm not blaming it on them children, you can't blame it on him. But I'm sitting down like, nah, you can't do this. Is wrong. You can't do this. And obviously he went out there and took care of his business. He won the match. He didn't even want to get his hand raised. He was sick to his stomach. And for those of you out there who are interested or want to know, I have reached out to the young man. I've also reached out to Alan Maloney. We love to have both of them sit right here and explain themselves. Both of them. Reached out to both of them. We'll continue to reach out to both of them. So I would love to hear their perspectives on what happened. Because this is a sickening situation. It shouldn't go unnoticed. He shouldn't be sidelined. No, the man deserves to be fired.
It's almost criminal.
It is criminal.
It's criminal. It's almost like assault. Like, don't put your hands on me for one to cut my hair off. That, and
it's blatant racism. And you do it in front of a whole squad of kids, athletic departments.
Right.
Where has anything come out as far as what Buna has to say about this? Because this is insane to me.
Right. I don't think Buna has left a statement as of yet. They definitely should be, but according to the article, NJ.com, not as of yet. No.
That's a shame.
Definitely.
They should be ashamed of themselves too. I'm sorry. It's unacceptable. They shouldn't have let that child cut his hair at all. And they should have took the proper thing. If you lose the match, so be it. What are you standing up for by even letting that go down?
They're ducking it. According to NJ.com, they had reached out, to Buna, the school board and everything. They say all calls, they called the athletic director, David Albertson, the wrestling coach, George Maxwell. All calls were not returned. So if anybody's interested, and wants to give these people a call, if you're in media, find out, get some explanations. The names of David Albertson and George Maxwell down there in Buna, New Jersey. Crazy.
And we will continue to do so as well. Like I said, you got our words on here. This happens in our community. We like to pride ourselves in doing the right things and being objective to situations and calling out things that happen in our community. This happened right in our backyard.
Right.
This won't go unnoticed. This isn't over.
Right.
By a long shot.
Sad. So yeah, man. Shout out to Andrew Johnson. Keep doing your thing, man. And sad, traumatized. I'm sure he's traumatized at this point from that, experience. Shout out to Brother Consul. I see you in the comment section down there, brother. If you want to come on in, man, we'll definitely welcome you in. If you want to talk about this Funkmaster Flex Dame Dash, we're going to talk about this, move on to this subject, next. It's been crazy that they've been going back and forth, throwing jabs. At the last thing that I seen was, I think Funkmaster Flex, this morning posted up, and when we re-upload this, we'll actually show it on the screen. Pretty much an emoji beside Dame Dash, and I think it put like Funk Flex was worth 14 million and how Dame Dash was worth 2 million. I'm sure everybody's seen that if they're on Instagram today. Then Dame Dash followed up showing his his different businesses right here. He Rockefeller, Rockaware, Dame Dash Studios, Rachel Roy, State Property, Poppington, Dusko, Culture Vultures, which is the new book that came out, and he put it up against Funkmaster Flex's. He said same desk job for 30 years, career. Cool. Sandman, what are your thoughts? I know we gave a lot of commentary on it, on the podcast, but a day removed, them still going at each other. What is this really showing the people that like this war being fought out with two brothers in front of the people?
Is it a war?
Well,
is it a war, or is it like we said to beginning, another failed attempt for Hot 97 to make some relevance at a failed station?
Right.
I said it once, I'm gonna say it a million times. This is nothing more than a publicity stunt. First off, it came out of absolute thin air. Why is Flex all of a sudden having this call? Why is he having this epiphany that this Culture Vulture thing will no longer be accepted? When Dame Dash is doing master classes and things and not even on that energy right now. Always on that energy, but not on that energy. What are you bringing it up for now? It's real convenient that you just leave this YouTube party sponsored by Leo Cohen, giving you lobsters and shrimps and everything. It's fabulous. And now you feel like you have this obligation to speak out against things because you've been there. You're not going to allow this to go down. Well, I mean, with all due respect, just because you yell and scream and holler don't mean you saying shit. And the evidence that he put out as far as the success of 300, we all know that was some bullshit. To put Leo Cohen because he was roadieing for Run DMC and things like that and completely negate the fact that he owns a lot of artists, rappers that aren't getting paid properly and is the culprit for a lot of raw, disgusting deals that went on throughout the history of music. You ignore all of that. And not to just to add insult to injury, you go out of your way, because now he's going out of his way to try to disrespect Dame Dash. Now, we can peel this back like an onion, the layers, and tear every argument that he has up. And we're not sitting here trying to be pro Dame Dash. We're just sitting here saying right and wrong is wrong. And when you got somebody out here minding his business, doing his thing, what are you attacking for? Right. What's the objective behind it? Right. Well, let's break it down in the layers, oh God. He dropped something as far as numbers. Now, he had $14 million net worth. Dame Dash had $2.
Right.
Now, I wish we had our brother Kansu. I've seen him in the building because this is right up his alley. Right. But we're going to give our expertise as best as we can on this real quick. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, the 14 million, the 2 million. I think it really doesn't mean as much as we think, the money. For a lot of people, they will say, like, the people who's not really thinking on level say, but we got to remember, though, Dame Dash with Rockefeller, what they did. I think at one point they were either $200 to $300 million company and climbing. They decided to sell the parts off, and Dame went a separate way. Funk's is now on paper. Funkmaster Flex may be worth more, but ultimately it's about controlling your own destiny. And like I said before on previous video that we did, it's like when you see these guys, when these people who are getting fired for saying something that we say, well, wow, there's nothing wrong with what he said, but it goes up against the moral fabric of these different companies. It just goes to show you that I don't care how much money you're making on the job. You need to be owning that. Why can't you have your own? And this is I think the fundamental conversation that we're missing between the Dame Dash and the Funkmaster Flex. The two things that we see, the two dynamics that we see is a boss and a worker. Nothing wrong necessarily with somebody just working, but our people, we need more institutions. We need ownership. It needs to be more of us that are more progressive and doing things on our own, because when we go to these other people's institutions, they don't treat us right. And they make us do all types of different things that we're uncomfortable with. So it's just like, do you complain about it? Or do you make your own? Dame Dash is trying to get the kids to build their own. Everybody else does this. Everybody. You go to these different neighborhoods, you see people, all these different ethnicities coming into this country. The first thing they start doing is getting businesses and getting stuff and feeding their people and building up. They don't go and just say, and settle for, it might be a stepping stone for them to get a job, but settle for just second-class citizenship. No, bosses. Now, everybody's not going to be a boss. So that's why it's even kind of foolish for Dame to go back and forth with him, because it's a different, mentality there. The mentality is different.
Okay,
but he has to, because he has to make an example.
What does it say about Funk Flex that he is going against everything that has to do with that, trying to shit on that completely to the highest degree, talking about his money, We seen something on Instagram where he talked about his failed quote unquote businesses, and a lot of those were just slander and lies. I mean, the book did very well. A lot of the businesses did well. We were talking about he was sitting on $1 million monster that is The Rock. He left that very successful. So what was it failing? Why is it just the outright trying to just hell bent on trying to destroy his name, destroy free market, free ownership, entrepreneurship, things that, like you just said, are needed in the community? What's the main objective? What's the underlying?
I really don't know, man. I mean, we always had group of people who would try to destroy, another group of people for whatever reason, whatever it be, jealousy, hate, envy. I don't know the exact, motive. We have to ask Funk Flex that why he's continuing, this assault, or he might believe that Dame Dash is indeed lying. He's bringing his, facts. He's saying that pretty much Dame Dash, if it wasn't for Lior, Rockefeller is going to die. He was going to be dead. Jay-Z was going to be, in the basement. This is what he was saying. Now, we don't know if that's true or not because the way history played out, but for him to continue now, it was one thing to come out and give his side of the story. That's cool. And say, this is how I seen it back then. But for him to now try to tear down this man's character, it's still going to backfire. As we see, it's still backfiring on him because all the comments that I've seen on our channel was the overwhelming consensus is people rock with Dame Dash. You know what I mean? But it's sad to see Funk Flex. I don't know why he's doing this.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I don't know why. Go ahead.
He's a paid sucker for Lior right now. A
Damn.
paid sucker. And Lior may have a little bit of something going on in Hot 97 because there's a lot of paid suckers over there. And it's a shame. The hottest radio station where we grew up in the country, damn New York, the country. And a radio station that couldn't evolve with the times. You sit there, you got 105.1 The Breakfast Club.
Smashing them
8-0 right now when it comes to ratings of radio, getting your asses stomped out, pause, every single year when it comes to ratings. Never wanting to evolve. Every day.
Right.
And never wanting to evolve. And now you have a situation where you screaming and hollering. You sitting there, you in all of his comments, but you turn all your comments off. This is a failed attempt at what? Why are you doing this? It's a shame. It's pitiful, and it needs to be addressed. And when it comes to Funk Flex and getting into why he is even trying to do these kind of things, it makes you wonder, damn, are you just, I don't know, man, it's wild.
Yeah, definitely. But even with the I'm seeing people talk about the $2 million, the net worth. I wouldn't look too much into that.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Right, go ahead.
And my bad to cut you off. People look into the 2 million and the 14 million and they get misconstrued because that has nothing to do with what your businesses are tied into. And see, people, he thinks he's praying into the ignorant and people that don't really know any better. And they see 14 million and 2 million and they go, oh, he ain't got no money, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But that ain't had nothing to do with his business assets and things like that, like you were about to talk
have some
about.
Stuff buried.
Talk about it.
I mean, first of all, nobody really wants to pay taxes like that. You know what I mean? But it's necessary when you're doing business. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm sure people have ways of moving their money around. We heard Jay-Z just dropped. We're going to talk about Jay-Z next.
Yeah.
A slick line that would say he's basically living tax-free. You know what I mean? How true that is, we don't know. But it's ways that you can move your money around, and Dame has talked about that. But, let's talk about this part, man, this aspect of it. When we talk about the culture vulture, let's talk about the 360 deal.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Jay-Z being silent on this. But the only thing we can always look to Jay-Z is his music. So Meek Mill drops What's Free, you know what I mean? Dynamic, Rick Ross, just everybody's calling What's Free Jay-Z's verse right now, the verse of the year. He says in that, what did he say again? What did he say again, Jay-Z?
He said in the land of the free, where the blacks enslaved 3/5 of a man, I believe the phrase, I'm 50% of do say, right. And it's debt free, 100% ace of spades worth half a B. Rock Nation, half of that's my piece, 100% of title to bust it up with my G's. Since most of my niggas won't ever work together, you run a checkup, but they never give you leverage. Did he win? And obviously no Red Hat, no Michael Jackson, Prince, me and Ye. Let's talk about, he said, I ain't got 1 billion streams, I got $1 billion, inflating numbers like we're supposed to be happy about this. We was praising Billboard, but we was young. Now we look at Billboard like, is you dumb? Obviously we know the lines. He was going, he had some shots that he was taking. Right.
But he said that the 360 thing is what I wanted to get to, where he said they create the 360 deal. He said they create the 360 deal. You got it up there?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
And the people stole their soul and hit niggas with 360s.
Right. Now, we were talking about that, and we were saying like, first of all, who made the 360 deal, right?
Leo Cohen.
Right. So obviously Jay-Z is showing you right there. I appreciate you reading all that too.
No,
you know what I mean? He's telling you right there, like he's silently telling you that he's agreeing with Dame Dash. He's not coming out publicly saying it. Now a lot of people are also saying, I've seen this in the comments, that the thing would they were pretty much saying that maybe that Dame Dash was running the business in a way that Jay-Z didn't like, with the Cameron situation, and that made him move on. I don't know about that. I've seen a little bit of that. We know about that riff back in the day, but yeah, Jay-Z now is showing us that he's, he got the title thing. They're moving forward, and he's showing you that he's with Dame Dash. So at least with the 360 deal. So why won't Jay-Z come out publicly and choose a side or say anything or condemn somebody here?
He's never historically really said anything. I mean, we've seen him come out and be real candid last year when 444 was getting laid out in regards to his infidelity with Beyonce. But outside of that,
right.
I mean, he addressed Kanye a little bit, but we never talked about the Rockefeller days. And we speculated on that on the Thursday podcast yesterday on why he doesn't address it when we talked about the Travis Scott situation and him talking against that.
Right.
He never really came out and was real vocal. Now we can go ahead and bust down the bars and really and speculate. Mm-hmm. And it definitely sounds like right now he's on Dame Dash's side. But that being said, nothing was publicly ever announced. I don't know if anything needs to be announced. I don't know if anybody is, whether it be on either side, is looking for something to be announced.
Right.
But speak up against Lior, if anything, or
right.
publicly say it. Or do you think he's saying that's enough by me doing this and ownership? And am I saying enough through my action? Do I need to say any words?
That's a good point. But, I think somebody needs to, more people need to step up and say something. But this is something we're going to have, this is not going to be the end of this, because this is a power dynamic that we have. And far too many of us, I think, have this worker mentality where we're not really looking to do anything better for ourselves, but just to settle, for working for somebody else, And when you look at how communities are built and successful communities, it starts with people starting businesses, small entrepreneurs, hiring people within the community and beginning to build like that. It doesn't start, getting a job, but somewhere you're never going to make enough to really do anything. And Dame always talks about hustling for your last name and being able to leave your children something when you leave. Like, bro, you got Viral Hip Hop News. I got Hip Hop News Uncensored. These are companies that ultimately we want to be able to run when we're not here, and that our family, our children can inherit something that we built. If I'm going to work at McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, when I'm die, that's over. My kids don't have nothing. This is what people are missing. Now, I don't know, Funk Master Fly, I don't know what his package looks like, but he don't have no ownership at Hot 97.
Nah, the scary thing is if he wanted to go on vacation, they told him not to. He couldn't, or he's fired.
That's what I'm saying.
Think about that.
Right, and that was the argument when you go back to the old Breakfast Club interview. He was going back and forth with Envy, Charlamagne, and they still didn't get it at that point. Even with Van Lathan from TMZ, they did not get it. They just wouldn't get it. They're like, well, I got it going on here. I can go buy my grandmother a roof for $10,000. You don't get it. You need to own it. How much more better would it be if DJ Envy, Charlamagne, and Angelique own that and they got all that off the top, as opposed to 105.1 iHeart Media, whoever owns that, taking all the money off the top. Remember, Envy was in the iHeart jet. Wasn't in DJ Envy jet. He probably can get a jet,
right? But
he wasn't in DJ Envy's company jet. You're in iHeart Media jet. So, nothing wrong per se, but, I get where Dame is coming from, and we're entrepreneurs, so we feel him. That's just that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's cool to even shit on a man for trying to own or spread the message
crazy.
of owning.
That's
degrading him and blowing him down in every way. And that's why when people call you a Sambo and all these other crazy names, it's kind of like it fits, that the shoes fit. You got to wear them motherfuckers, because you doing some shit you doing things that are bad for the culture, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, we praised you. You sitting there, you getting artists on here, you really spitting. We were on your side when you talked about Drake not being one of the greatest all time, because you got to be able to spit. Your word and your perspective in hip hop is definitely something that should be respected, because you've been the ears to hip hop for 30, 40 years. But nowadays you're not resonating with the youth. Hot 97's not resonating with the youth the way they're supposed to. You don't want to get any young bodies in there, young blood, to try to change up the culture in Hot 97 for whatever reason. And now you try to shit on people that are trying to promote ownership, self-awareness to our people, to our culture. And Dame Dash is a smart dude, because you could see early on, once he kind of seen all the nonsense that was going on in music and what was going to happen years out the road, he got out of it. He got out of it. And like we were saying yesterday, the labels are soon to be obsolete. Labels are soon to be gone. Independent labels, major labels, people and artists are being more hip to being independent so much more nowadays in 2018. When you got social media, when you got the power of this there, when you got control over how you stream and then you can control your own music, why go to a label? And this may be another last ditch for Leo Cohen, one of the top people in the label that control these artists, to try to continue to get them on their side. And we got to take out Dame because he's the one promoting it the most.
Well, I mean, if you look at, that's what we got to get Brother Khonshu, on to break this down. Remember when you break down, and I'm sure you can break this down too, the 360 deal. It's like when you look at it, and Dame Dash was talking about this, like it was one way they can just make money from music, but artists start to get smart and find other ways, to make, money off the music, merchandising, shows, and different things like that. The record company got hip to it, as he says, and started saying, okay, we can bring you in and fund you, but all the extra money that you make outside of the music, I need a piece of that. And not only do I need a piece of that, I might need a piece of that for a long time. And I might even, need to own your master. There's so many people now who can't even perform their own music. I talked about Lauryn Hill. I went to go see her concert with Nas about 1.5 years ago. It was sad. It was just sad because she couldn't perform her own music. And I still got it in my phone too, recorded. And it's just like, I'm teaching ownership. You know what I mean? That's what we teach: ownership, control, having our own things. And anybody speaking out against that, man, is sad and it's silly at this point. But that's all I got on that.
That's why I'm thinking that's why he got the corporate whip getting beat down on his back. And he got a little change getting thrown in his pocket because it makes absolute no sense outside of you really trying to steer a narrative and for somebody else. Because if you out here promoting ownership for yourself, why would you even touch that? Like just being a real dude, why would you even? Nah, I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm gonna leave that alone. I might not agree with what Dame's doing, but I'm gonna leave that one alone because he's out here promoting positivity. But you throw it away. That's an objective behind that.
Right, but it remains to be seen, man. I'm gonna talk about this though, Sam, man, because you let out a tweet earlier, and we ain't gonna mention none of the other platforms' name. You know what I mean? No free promotion, over here. But everybody's running, man. Everybody wants to talk all this upliftment, all this empowerment stuff, but they don't. The media is very important. They always go to the ones that they will call culture vultures or put them in that category, and they continue to feed their businesses and feed their agendas because they got big followings. How do you feel about that? We seen, again, I'm not going to throw any names in it, right now. When the time comes, I will. People who are supposed to be outspoken activists about this, but they're going to these platforms and still helping them build up their businesses. They don't realize that every time they go over there and let them get 300, 400, 500,000 views, it just builds them, makes them more credible for years. They don't get that. But then they shun smaller companies, who, have the same objective. Like you said, have the same corporate structures or even better than some of these bigger companies. They just don't show up and support them. How do you feel about that, man? The lack of support for the small independent media outlets.
I can only speak for us, right? So when we started Hip Hop News Uncensored, we started Viral. I started Viral, and we started the Uncensored Truth podcast. We kind of looked at everything that we had going on and said, okay, we have something here. There's something here bigger than just 2 YouTube platforms and a podcast. We have something here. You began the website, hiphopun.com. We set out a plan. And we set out a plan based on hearing a lot of people complain. Right. You know what I mean? Hearing a lot of people up in arms. A lot of people upset over this needs to stop. We have vulturing in the culture. This one particular dude or whatever. Okay, so we see what we got going on. Viral Hip Hop News Uncensored, the Uncensored Truth podcast. We take it upon ourselves to go, you know what? We about to make a move at this. We about to take this seriously and give the people what they want. Let's give them a black-owned media-based company that we provide content where we can give perspective and we can get honest narrative to a lot of the rappers and entertainer stories. Now, we know it's not going to happen overnight, but we're willing to build, we're willing to grind, we're willing to grow, we're willing to do what we're supposed to do. Start the podcast in March, begins to gain success. We sit here in December now, successful in the 9 months that we've gained so far, very humble in that. So now we can start having this kind of conversation. We're starting to reach out to different kind of people, starting to reach out to various platforms and things like that, so that we can change the narrative that a lot of the media streams or a lot of the people that may be disseminating on YouTube are complained about right now from the people. They want to see it different. They want to see it done from our perspective. Okay, we're trying to give that to you. But for some reason, it seems as though a lot of the mainstream people, and not all of them, but most of them, seem to shun away from it. Now, I'm not going to attest that they are shunning away from us, that we're hating on other outlets. No, but it does. It seems like you're so quick to run to the other ones as though that's the platform or that's the pinnacle of your success. When if you really look and do your research, if you really cared about, okay, let me find something that's closer to me. Let me see who's out here doing damage that looks like me, that talks like me, that walks like me. And you'll clearly see if you had 2 eyes, 2 ears, if you smelled it, if you could see
analytics,
you'd be able to know, okay, there's some people out here doing damage. Oh, and then they happen to reach out to me. All right, let me show them some love. Let's build. And then let me simply retweet that and see where it goes.
Yeah.
But they don't do that because a lot of them, and I hate to call it out, they want that white fame. Would you say black? Would you say white gold?
White man's ice is colder.
White man's ice is colder.
And they really believe that. I mean, I see it, man. The DLs and Jamil Hills and anybody you can name. I'm like, man, I'm not even, I ain't saying us. You can go to somebody else who's smaller, or just somebody that's honest and trying to just do their thing and help them. But they continue to go to the same people and build them up. But that's fine. But don't complain about nothing. Oh, the media's do this and do that. Nah, come to the ones who's going to do it the right. We can split it. We know how to do business the right way. You know what I mean? It ain't going to be like, your hog. It's one hand wash the other. You know what I mean? An artist come on to something like that. We need you to promote it. We need you to tweet it out. They don't do that. You know what I mean? And, they'll dress up for all these other people's interviews. They go up there, be on time. When it's time to interview, you got these guys, the one guy, I ain't going to mention the comedian.
TK Kirkland.
Yeah, the comedian, in a car and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm like, man, dog, you can't give us the respect. For being in the crib and, having a hardwire, connection. But when you up these other people smiling, you're beguiling and all that, doing handstands and backflips. So salute to all the real ones out there because there have been a lot of real cats. My man, Kenyatta, I seen him in the chat room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kenyatta Griggs, the co-author of Culture Vultures, real humble, real dude, real dude who gave us his full attention. That was probably our best interview, I have to say. Definitely one of our top 3 interviews that we done, So, yeah, man, salute to people like that. But this industry is bougie and fake.
It's bougie and fake to the core.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of the bougie and fakeness going on with Flex right now. And that's the sick feeling. Because you have, and throughout our various podcasts and various commentaries on whatever issues, 95% of it are love. But the little 5% that you hear, who are these guys? Well, who is this? Well, we're only the people that bought these microphones, bought that camera, bought the lighting, bought the mixing system. So we bought our right to say what the F we want to say on this podcast.
Yeah.
And your favorite stations like Hot 97 and even to a certain degree 105.1, all the love to them, but they can't say what they want to say to a certain degree.
Right. And we on YouTube.
You know what I mean?
We're on YouTube and all that, and YouTube gives you some discretion. Obviously, they have community guidelines, and we try our best, to stay within those because we're, smart enough to be able to get our message out without screaming and hollering and have to cuss. People say, oh, this, that, and the third. We don't have to turn into animals to get our message out, to the people. It's far too many people do that. And we can get into the theatrics, but we're not. We're just going to, deliver it, 100%, accurate. So, yeah, man. Shout out to everybody who's listening. Go ahead and hit the like button if you're in. I see my man Jay Murray 504. That's my dude in there. Tony Brown, I see you in there. Go ahead and drop your area codes. Yeah, man. People are putting naming some of these hip hop sites, but they get all the support. They get all the support from these people. And again, it's not like we're hating because we ready to get in the ring and bang number for number, video for video, business for business. We're banging. You know what I mean? That's how we getting it in with them. You know what I mean? Article for article. That's how we coming. So we're not complaining. We just pointing out, the hypocrisy with some of these people. So that's why I don't take none of these cats serious. I ain't niggas talking all this. Oh, shut up. You running right over there to the dude's platform that you call. You know what I mean? So that kind of is what it is, man. I think some of them maybe don't know better. And maybe their assistants and all that, and their publicists are just setting them up with different things, and they hear this name, and they say, oh, we're going to do this and that. Come on, man. Y'all suckers, man.
I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick, because I 100% agree with you. I couldn't agree more. Like, I can stretch on that sentiment for hours. But is it just because, do you think it's more of a publicist thing? Do you think it's because, what do you say to the naysayers that this is early? Maybe some of you guys aren't noticed yet. Or what do you even think to like a Hot 97 shunning away from a lot of YouTube or social media related acts when it comes to this hip hop commentator, this hip hop in general, where you see a lot of different outlets kind of going toward it now. Like, for example, you see a Master P going into the social media realm.
Right.
You see social media acts going into TV now and things like that. You see various outlets that were once famous for broadcasting TV kind of adjusting to the wave, adjusting to the time and doing
I'll say it like this.
But High 97.
Right. I mean, I'll say it like this, man. I've been hit up by numerous record labels, and I've showed you the different emails.
Yeah.
They see the wave. They see the wave on YouTube. They know that the curators on YouTube, you know, are pushing the culture forward. So you got a lot of fuckboys out there. You know, we're separating ourselves from that pack every single day, hopefully.
Fact.
You know what I mean? But the smart companies that, you know, are innovative, that continue to move forward, you know, regardless of who runs them, they're hip. But the companies that don't evolve, as we see, you know, I have to name, you just named them, you know, are the ones that I don't think, you know, are kind of stuck. You know how the old guys get stuck in their ways and they see a new guy, something coming, they just don't want to move over for him. Like, you ever been on a job or whatever working, and this guy supposed to teach you how to do something, he won't teach you. You know what I mean? Because he don't want you to take his shit.
Is it kind of like that? The old basketball player that
Right.
just don't want to give up because they don't want the young boys coming in and smacking them around. They just don't want to give it up.
Right.
You think that's what's going on over there with Ebro?
I think that a little bit. I mean, I don't want to focus too much on them cats. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, because that was some clown shit. Either way you look at it, what Flex did. And I'm not like trying to. I'm not looking for no clout. People, clout chasing nothing. This is 100% facts. You know what I mean? We two guys that are self-made, that got our own businesses. I understand 100% the boss entrepreneur mindset. You know, so anybody, to even somebody wanted to attack me for doing it, I would think that was crazy. Oh, you want me to go back to work and work with somebody? Come on, man.
Yeah, go back. Go ahead. Go back. Don't stop what you're doing right here. I hate what you're doing. Go back to work. Go back and have somebody tell you what to do.
Right.
And put a value on your life and put minimal value on your life. And then tell you when you can go out with your kids and tell you this and tell you that. Right. Because you're a hater. Man, go ahead with yourself, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to call a couple area codes out, man. They've been dropping them like crazy since we've been talking. To see the 540-803 in the building, the 864, the 323-718 in the building. I see y'all, everybody, you know, in the chat room that's going in right now. Peace, peace. I see the Gulf Coast epidemic. I see you. Peace, peace to you.
Yeah, make sure you drop your questions right now. Area codes, keep them coming, man. We love to answer. Talk to you guys for a minute. Y'all heard of the cult leader Nature Boy? Have you heard of that, old guy?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him either. Haven't heard of him either. I'm gonna go in this comment section real quick and see if I can get some questions. Shout out to Kenyatta too. I see you in the building. Definitely. CO Bella, avid listener. We appreciate you, darling. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Indeed, indeed.
Baltimore, I see you. Definitely.
Flex is housing. No, there's no doubt.
Yeah, but that, you know, that kind of, you know, the subject that you know, is what it is, you know, throwing shots on there, but we're gonna see what's what, like Jay-Z used to say, when it's all said and done, we're gonna see what's what. You know?
How long do you think it's gonna go on? Because I mean, he's getting like super dumb petty, like it's childish at this point. So how long do you think that barrage continues? How much money was he put in? How many days did he get worth on that check? What, a weekend, I mean, Christmas?
I don't know, man.
You know what I mean,
I just don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I can't call that. You know, like you said, it was very suspect. You know, that he did that, you know, right after that meeting at Google, I think it was, or YouTube. So I don't know, man. Definitely. Yes, sir. But you're tuned into the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Oh God, and Sam Ant, going in tonight on this Friday night. Anything I want to talk about, go ahead and throw it in there, you know, in the comment section. Man, it's a quick recap, you know, of the show tonight, man. We talked about Funkmaster Flex, Dame Dash going back and forth, still throwing. If y'all subscribe to their Instagram, they're throwing shots back and forth, you know, all day. I would like to see those brothers actually do it, you know, a face-to-face.
They won't. Flex don't want to do it.
Yeah, he shook.
He ain't gonna do
blocking
it.
People in the comments and all that shit.
And he's the first one to run. It's so corny what's going on. It's like, yo, you got paid for this. How much did you get paid for that?
Right.
Come on,
Josh
man.
Gordon.
We talked about Josh Gordon.
Right.
We got into that. We could talk about that again.
Yeah, give me your thoughts on Josh Gordon situation. Somebody's asking.
Well, they were saying that Stephen A was real critical of him, and he said that it was self-inflicted, a lot of his wounds. And we were talking yesterday on a Thursday edition of the podcast about how he was beginning to take Xanax and things like that in the 7th grade. 7th grade, you're 12, 13 years old, 11 years old. That ain't self-inflicted. You know what I mean? And he said the reason why he was taking these things is because he had anxiety toward how he looked and various anxieties that we all deal with as children and things like that. Boy, a young man had a problem early on, and then we seen his various run-ins through college when he went to Baylor and then got transferred to Utah. Heard how he spoke about how various coaches at Baylor were helping him cheat drug tests and things like that when they knew he had a problem early on, but they just tried to keep him on the field because he had T.O. strength and speed and Randy Moss hands, and he was just phenomenal talent that just had to go ahead and make these universities millions and millions of dollars. Damn his problem. But the second he gets caught, we're going to put him out there on the mainstream media and deem him as the villain, deem him as this, deem him as that. And that's the corny fucking part about it. Right. And that's what Stephen A. Smith needs to be called out on, because you get this information disseminated from you on the NFL or whatever the case may be. And then you go and just drive that narrative on your mainstream network because you ain't paid for the microphone. Somebody else is telling you what to do. Somebody put a battery in your back, and you damn sure can't mess up that check, right, Mr. Stephen A. Smith? Somebody that we respect, did a lot of work out here in Philadelphia for years and years and years. But why are you chucking and jiving, man? Why you getting on this brother right here? Now, when we first talked about it, I'm like, damn, like when you really look at this situation, and we talked about mental health, and I said that I was kind of worried about this thing as weapon in mental health because it's starting to become weaponized. Victims are the new fad in 2018, 2019. Being a victim is the new thing. So with this mental health, I didn't want it to be taken somewhere where anybody can just have mental health and things like that. It's a real situation right here. This brother's dealing with some things. He has some substance abuse issues that he needs to be dealing with. He has some probably mental and emotional issues that he needs to handle out here in the public light, deemed as a villain, deemed as a drug addict, deemed as lazy, deemed as not wanting to have a chance. He's been dealing with this since he was 11 years old.
Let's talk about what Stephen A. Smith said, though. Let's give the people a little bit of context what he said. He said, I don't want to come across as harsh or unsympathetic to Josh Gordon, but let's be very, very clear here. You got a whole bunch of people out there talking about it's a disease. It's a disease because it's an addiction. Well, I'm not going to debunk or eliminate the notion that it's a disease. But now, how did it become one? Because you can't get addicted to something you never try. This isn't cancer. This isn't Alzheimer's disease, dementia, or something like that. This is self-inflicted. Now, Stephen A. Smith has been under a lot of fire for that comment, Sam. I don't know if you heard exactly what he said, but what do you think about that, Stephen A. Smith? Going in.
Stephen A. has a right to his opinion, but it just seems like he's always very outspoken when it comes to black athletes on that damn station. Always very outspoken. Always have to go out of his way. Now, no one's saying that he's not a grown man and he should take up for his responsibilities. No one's saying that. Yeah, he messed up a lot of times, and yeah, he needs to get away from football. He doesn't need to be paid. He needs to doesn't need to be paid when it comes to NFL. He needs to take care of himself. Right. Agree with that. But let's talk about the people that allowed him continuously to come back in the NFL after trashing him and come back so that you can make money for your company, but won't properly make sure that he gets the proper help because he obviously needs help. Now, we talk about the epidemic when he talks about pills and things like that. Right. When they hit those suburban communities and things like that, oh, those people needed help. But when every time it goes to an area where it's black people or things like that, oh, we need to take culpability for our actions. I agree to a certain degree. Right. And he shouldn't be victimized. He shouldn't have a job in the NFL. Maybe he should have never got to the NFL. Maybe he should have got taken care of in college and somebody should have told him no, so he could have addressed this early on and his life would have been spared and he could have made it and had a productive career. But it was never done. It was always shelled. This problem was never addressed. And now we sit here in this situation.
It's crazy because if you look at, I was just reading an article the other day and it said fentanyl now is like, is I don't know if it's number one, but it's starting to rise as being a number one. People overdose over the stuff like crazy. This is stuff that comes from the doctors, from the pharmacists. Every time you look at stuff like the Xanax and stuff, this comes from the doctors and all that, and the pharmacists. So it's just like, how are these people getting it? You know what I mean? For one, and it's like for him to say, for Josh Gordon to come out and say that he started taking this stuff to kind of mask things it's a disease and it needs treatment. I mean, I'm just kind of taking it back that he was never, forced to go into whether it be college. Definitely in the NFL, like some type of a rehab at some point to get himself clean at the stipulation of playing. Like somebody almost like back in the day when it's two different situations when Michael Vick, nobody wanted to bring him into the league, but Andy Reid from the Philadelphia Eagles kind of took him under his wing. Tony Dungy, I think, and mentored him and said, "Look, man, we're going to reintroduce you back." He didn't have nobody like that. I mean, we're not talking drugs with Michael Vick, but still. Nobody who said, "Look, man, I know you can ball, but if you get rehab, there's a chance that you can, get rid of this and move forward." It never happened. Now, does Gordon have responsibility? Absolutely. He's a grown man. You know what I mean? But it started in his childhood. And for him to be dealing with it this long is obviously a disease. It's obviously a problem, an addiction. And I'm just glad he's getting help from it at this point. You know what I mean? Forget the NFL.
Agreed.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Agreed.
How you feel about the players? I'm gonna ask you about this too. It was a big thing the other day about pretty much players sitting out. Well, I know how you feel about it, but for the people, players sitting out when they're pretty much eliminated from contention in the playoffs. You know, people think that they still play. How you feel about that?
Sit out.
Yeah,
it's a business. And damn them. Okay. In the NBA or the MLB, when you get a guaranteed contract, 125 mil, 90 million right off the jump, I feel like you have an obligation to the franchise. You have an obligation to the fans to go out there and perform. Now, it's strenuous. We all understand athletes need rest. We're not saying that. In the NFL, you got 16 games of car accidents nonstop, human car accidents.
Thanks.
You have contracts that aren't guaranteed to these brothers. None of them. So you have NFL teams and owners that throw away these players indispensable like Lego pieces. If I was in the mind of an NFL player, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to be the most selfish person possible because this is how the business is constructed. This is the business I walked into. I walked into a selfish business. Yeah, it's 11 on 11, but it's one-on-one when it comes into this business meeting and my money, point blank, period. That's why I appreciated what my man did over there with the Steelers. I'm drawing a blank right now. The running back, damn, drawing a blank right now.
Not Le'Veon.
Le'Veon Bell.
Okay, Le'Veon.
Sat out, screw him.
Right.
I'm preserving myself. I'm a running back. I know I got millions of dollars, and somebody's going to sign Le'Veon Bell to a nice contract next year, and he just saved a year off of his life.
Right.
I completely applaud that and understand it when it comes to NFL players because that's the business they in.
Yeah.
I mean, point blank, period. How come nobody talks about Cap anymore? Is he done? I love that question. Cap shouldn't be done. Cap shouldn't be done, but Cap, in my opinion, should want to be done. Now, I hear a lot of people saying that Cap never asked to be out of football. He was taken out of football. Understood. A lot of us are taken out of situations and they ultimately become blessings in disguise. You've gotten fired from a job. I've gotten fired from a job. That scared the shit out of us because what are we going to do for money? But that opened up opportunities, new challenges, new ways for us to kind of, at the end of the day, become better for our lives. I think that what happened to Colin Kaepernick, as fucked up as it was, is probably the best thing that's ever happened to him when it comes to preserving your body, not being hit anymore, preserving your brain, preserving your well-being, not being ridiculed, not being talked about, not being slammed in the media when you throw an interception or may have a bad game. You're making tons of money in endorsements. You can go out here and do speaking engagements. You can act. There's millions of various ways that you can accumulate revenue. No one's saying to take any money out your pocket. That is guaranteed, mind you, and not deal with the bullshit that is the NFL. In my opinion, I think Colin Kaepernick would do a disservice to not only himself, but his cause if he even went back to the NFL. Yeah,
I think at this point, what does he got to prove? I mean, he ain't going to go back and win a Super Bowl or nothing at this point. Just, leave it. I think it'll be ruining the cause, anyway. NFL hasn't really budged too much on that issue. I mean, they made it real hard for people. We talk about, what's the guy, Reed, right? Eric Reed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for the Panthers.
Yeah, we actually were supposed to do that story the other day. We never got around to it.
We didn't with the random drug test.
Right. Yeah, go ahead. Speak on that one real quick.
Well, we all know Eric Reed was sitting there side by side with Colin Kaepernick with San Francisco during the times that Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee. Where he was brought on with the Carolina Panthers earlier on this year and he's been dealing with nonstop bullshit since. He was hit with his 7th random drug test, and he put a little picture up on his IG talking about how this was quote unquote so random. It's not random. They're trying to railroad him. You think the same thing, if not worse, will happen to Colin Kaepernick? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Why deal with that shit?
Yeah.
Why deal with that at all? I want to change gears real quick, and not to change the subject, but somebody just dropped something that caught my attention. Your View, My Vista. Shout out to you, brother. I want to drop your comment. Listen, Nokia from Drew Hill and I had a production deal along with the big Drew Hill deal in 2000 and after. I know how some things were moving back then. We know how Lemon, I guess you mean Lior, got down. Yeah, shout out. You must be from Baltimore. My man, Your View from My Vista, man. We used to do some business out there. I used to work for the Fudgery out here in Ocean One Mall in Atlantic City, and we did a lot of business with the Fudgery out in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
And my man Ray, Paul used to run that out there in the Fudgery, and he started the group, obviously Drew Hill. They used to work there in Ruffins out in Baltimore. So that was a dope story. But yeah, Your View, talk about it, man. Sorry to spell check. Now you good, man. I would love to hear your perspective on that because we did a lot of R&B groups. We talked about R&B being the pinnacle of groups being the pinnacle of R&B in the 90s. And nowadays you see these stories, and they're horror stories from your favorite R&B groups of how they got screwed out of money, how none of them were getting properly paid. and things like that. It's really sad, man.
Well, I think it was a mixture of, when you look at that, you got guys, and of course this doesn't apply to everybody. You got young kids that's coming out of the inner cities, probably were never taught anything about business, let alone the music industry. They just got a talent. They can sing, they can rap. They got these execs that got into position, however they got into position, maybe robbing, stealing or whatever. And they see different ways to exploit them and they do it. And them thinking because they don't, it's always, when you always say, never go into a negotiation unless you can walk away from it. You don't want to go into something, and not be able to negotiate. A lot of these people is feeling like it's their last. Master P talked about, a time where he only had like $500 and they was offering him a lot of money, but he turned it down and went to the trunk.
I remember that.
And ever since now we see, he's well off. So it's just like, if you're not able to walk away, and a lot of times with us, it's just miseducation. We just don't know, different things. We don't get, the paperwork right and everything. And we see it with Diddy and Birdman and numerous artists that people, are, shitted out. But that's why it's more important, to be self-sufficient, and beginning to learn things, on your own and ownership, because these things are taught. When somebody is mentoring you and teach you different things that you got to do to set up, make sure your books and everything is right. So, if you just go into a job and them doing everything for you and all that, it's just crazy, man. So definitely.
I agree on that, man. 100%, 1000%. Let's get back to some of these comments, man, because I see some dope things. I did DMX, What They Really Want, CNN, Y'all Don't Want a Case, Foxy, Drew Hill, Cisco, etc. Randy Ackerman, known amongst many others. Okay, worse. He must have been a producer. That's dope, man. I love hearing perspectives from the old school like that. Respect to y'all. Good work. Love the content. I stay hitting the like button. Ace Boogie, we appreciate that, man. Show your love. West LA was good with you. Y'all got some dope dispensaries out there in West LA. Shout out to all the great weed dispensaries in West LA. For sure. 919 was good with you, family. 317 in the building. What up, what up, what up? Just to name a few, we're just chilling on the podcast right now. 330.
Yes, sir.
Indeed, man.
Yeah, man. It's been we've almost been here for an hour.
Yeah.
Tonight, man, we're gonna be live every Friday night at 8 p.m. We hope to have a guest for you. We've been working on getting a few people, on the show, but I know all throughout the week, whether it be viral hip hop news or hip hop news uncensored, we're gonna be dropping, all types of different topics, mainly centered around hip hop. We do venture out, a lot to give our commentary. Also, we also follow everything up with an article on our hip hop UN, .com. So yeah, we're gonna keep grinding, and doing what we're doing. And we do appreciate everybody who sat in here tonight and listened to us, man. Trust me.
Couple more questions before we get out of here, man, because Anthony Parker's been getting busy in the comment section. I see you in there. Shout out to you, family. I'm gonna read your comment real quick. Comment on the Shade Room, oh God, and how they try to spread negativity. All these blogs are super destructive. Now, we've talked about this numerous times on this podcast and how a lot of the podcast and blogs get generalized and get boxed into one overall negative connotation when it comes to just this is why people don't fuck with blogs and podcasts, because they're negative. Shade Room is probably on the forefront of that when it comes to IG. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are you can't put them all into one box. Those are my thoughts. You got different people that do things differently. That was even World Star, that was their I remember Q, the owner, rest in peace to Q. He was always kind of hit, with that, well, how come, y'all always showing all this and that, but I don't agree with the way that some of them do it. I definitely don't. But some things have to be shown, but some people oversaturate. That's all they do. I think if you could create a balance, because some things happen, and if you're news, you got to report on them. Somebody's going to talk about it. You want to talk about it. But, I just think that you have to just take the time and look for the outlets that you like and the people that's going to do it, the right way. I think, because everybody does it differently in this game. So I don't want, maybe I don't really follow the Shade Room too much. I see their posts. It is centered around a lot of negativity and gossip, but we kind of try to separate ourselves from that. Even though sometimes we do touch on those topics, we go other places. We talk about people that business deals, people when they have books out. We bring entrepreneurs on the program, interview them, people, real progressive people in the neighborhood. That's what we try to specialize in. Different, if you go to the hiphopun.com, you have a lot of different sections, editorials and stuff like that. So yeah, everybody doesn't do that. So just don't get caught up in that, man.
I can honestly say we're definitely trying to swing the pendulum when it comes to the negative stereotypes with blogs and podcasts and things like that. And that's why we try to really pride ourselves in being in each and every one of those genres, but steering the narrative in different ways. When it comes to podcasts, we're not just going to talk about the traumas, the beefs, and put that on our platform. We're going to talk about injustices that are going on in our community. We're going to talk about and highlight things that are going on great within the music industry, so that we could talk about some of the more positive things, the things that are against the grain. And yeah, maybe those don't get the thousands and 100,000s of views that you go and attain for when you start these sites, but we have to make sure that we set a brand standard, that we're just totally different from the negative connotation that you may see. Now, negativity screams way louder than positivity does. Yeah. So when you see the Shade Room throwing up drama, or you see this, for some weird reason, we just have a thirst for drama and negativity as a culture. So a lot of people feed to that. That's whether to hate on somebody that you may not like, or just to feed into the drama. We have to do a better job as a people to just go toward the other things. Now, like I said, it's maybe funner or maybe a little more entertaining to listen to the drama and the nonsense, but we got to do a better job to make sure that we give to the other people, the other platforms that are trying to just make sure the narrative is as objective as possible, so that those platforms can flourish and get those other negative ones or bullshit ones or things that we may complain about out the way. The only way it changes is with support of the real ones.
Yeah, facts. I mean, they got to stop supporting them, which y'all do. Anytime y'all click, y'all like, you support them. But, it's a work in progress. We're going to continue to just do it our way. Hopefully, people will see the difference.
Indeed.
You know what I mean, in the future. But yeah, man, another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast in the books, man. We see y'all. Go ahead and drop your area code so we can say them as we, get out of here tonight. You know what I mean? Drop your area code so we can call out your city. We definitely want to know where you're calling from. If you didn't, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, tap that like button for me too if you didn't. Appreciate that.
Drop the area codes, man. Let me shout out some people out in the building. People that's been sitting here loyal with us this evening. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to my brother Mose. You hear the sounds in the building right now. His link should be in the description box right now. Go follow him if you're looking to release beats out. Just want to hear some dope instrumentals. Go follow my brother right now. You hear a lot of his stuff on Viral Hip Hop News and hear him throughout the podcast. Shout out to the brother, man.
Yes, sir. We see the 813-504-213-313-972-323. Again, 469-202. I see you, Omaha, Nebraska. I see y'all in the building. We do appreciate y'all. 305. I see you, 404-718. Brooklyn.
Indeed.
Baton Rouge. What up? What up? So, Sam, man, you think Nipsey Hussle, I saw y'all in the chat earlier, the hip hop mentorship chat. You will say that Nipsey Hussle had the best album of the year? Yeah.
I'm going to listen to a couple of albums before the year is out, but right now, I'm going to say Nipsey Hussle had the best album of the year. Yep. I think he had the best album of the year. I think that Travis Scott had the most overrated album of the year.
I see you, G Stabay. I appreciate that comment.
We'll talk about that. We're going to get in on that.
Yeah. That's, Jay-Z trying to stop Travis Scott from going to the Super Bowl. That was crazy, too.
We talked about that. Y'all can check that out on the Uncensored Truth podcast channel. We dropped that on there probably around like the 15, 16-minute mark. You could check that out on the Uncensored Truth podcast official channel.
There we go.
We got into that a little bit. Yeah, you've been fucking Black Panther up all night.
Yeah. Oh, that's what that is? Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, man. That's the T'Challa right there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Meek. I'm liking what Meek, he's doing, like where his message is going with his music right now. So that's real.
What are your top 3 albums this year? But off the jump. I know, you're an older school kind of cat.
Yeah.
You listen to a lot of the older stuff, but it's been a great selection of music coming out today, man.
Right.
So what's your top 3 albums that you've heard this year?
Before I do that, I'll give a shout out to Jess 33 King Productions.
What up?
I give you a shout out. Peace to you.
Peace.
I'm a Meek rider heavy. Meek, Nas, and Meek, Nas, and Styles and Davies.
Beloved. Okay.
Yeah, those 3.
I'm gonna go with Victory Lap. I'm gonna go with Push. That was my joint. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I'm gonna go with my man Royce and do Book of Ryan.
Push 5'9"?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Book of Ryan, one of the most underrated albums of 2019. We're gonna do something before the year is out,
right?
And get that popping. But yeah, Meek Mill's on my list. Definitely, I liked Kevin Gates' joint. He had a dope album came out. Obviously, Nas had a dope joint. I really appreciated what the body of work that my man Swiss Beats put out. Thought that was dope.
Yeah,
Beloved was dope. Dime Pack was dope. Method Man just put out an album. That joint's cool. It's been a great selection of music that came out this year, man. It's been also some garbage shit that came out. Dummy Boy was ass, and that's no disrespect to him. Astro World was ass. And those are probably some of the 2 top selling records. They were ass. It is what it is.
Oh, another news, Cardi B and Offset were spotted in Puerto Rico together on a jet ski.
Benny the Butcher had a monster album. Benny the Butcher had a monster album. Leave that shit to the shade room. We don't talk about that tatty shit over here, man. Indeed,
I've been seeing dudes doing that. They platform now, like talking about. I'm like, man, y'all reaching with that shit. Well, Nicki Minaj shit. I'm like, yo, man, come on, man. You ain't got to reach like that. It's going to come to you. Trust me. Yeah, it's going to come. Something's going to happen. Trust me.
I don't got to beg for it, man. We shouldn't be pillow talking that crazy. Leave that to your woman.
Yeah.
You and your lady, man.
Yeah, but shout out to everybody out there, man. My man Jay Murray in the building from down there in New Orleans. Everybody. I see you, Genesis. Yes. Too Much Fire shit came out in 2018. Yeah, man, you're an hour in. We gave you a whole hour. Tonight, we're going to continue to do this every Friday night at 8 p.m. Make sure you're in the building. 2019 is going to be totally different. Just trust and believe. We're going to change up a lot of things that we're doing. We want to bring a even better product to you guys. So just stay tuned, man. 4K, more camera angles, better sound, encoders, everything. We're killing it.
Continue to evolve, man. Content Kings. We pride ourselves on it. We just don't talk about it. We live about it. We be about it. We put our money towards it. And that's why we try to kill y'all each and every week. Shout out to everybody new that may be in the building this evening that watched us for the first time, that are checking the Uncensored Truth out live exclusively on Hip Hop News Uncensored. Make sure you subscribe not only to Hip Hop News Uncensored, but to Vile Hip Hop News and to Uncensored Truth, the official channel. All of those links should be in the description box right now, or you should be able to type each and every one of those names in. It'll come right up. We don't play any games. Subscribe, hit that alert button. Let's get it cooking, man. We drop content every day, each and every week. Content Kings, let's go.
Yes, sir. Another one. If you want to find some great articles, please go to hiphopun.com. Also, go right to the top and follow us on IG at Hip Hop Uncensored, and on Facebook, hit the like button when you get there. If you follow right now, we will follow back. That's pretty much all I got. Shout out to everybody out there who rocks with us from day one. We definitely love y'all. That's all I got, Sam, man.
Love y'all, man. We out of here. Shout out to the people that in the comment section always keeping it cold and icy for us. We appreciate y'all, man. Till next time, till next story, we out of here.
Peace.